Have you ever had AI return results that were, let's say, less than desirable? I know I have certainly had some stuff come out of AI that wasn't quite like I anticipated or wanted. And I have plenty of videos around how AI has failed me. You can check those out later. But now I have come up with a surefire tactic that helps me get better results from AI. Finally! Now, I am a big fan of the phrase, don't blame the user. When something doesn't work as expected, we should not be saying the user did something wrong, right? But I will say that sometimes we, as the user, need to be a little bit responsible for making improvements, okay? I'm not saying blame the user. So what I'm going to talk about today is a prompt that I use to make AI results so much better. Once I found out about how to do this, this has changed my interaction with AI so much, and it's made it so much better. So we're going to break that down. But first, I want to talk about this concept that any other user experience or tech professional has probably heard of, and that is don't blame the user. When AI doesn't work right, we should not blame the user for when that falls apart, right? I will say that we, as users of AI, need to be open to improvement. I kind of think of this prompt engineering thing that I'm going to talk about, and it's not even prompt engineering. I hate that term. It sounds too fancy. This approach to building better prompts, I kind of think of this as peer review or design critique, but with AI. It's kind of like testing a design before you get it in the hands of users, right? We all want to do that. Yes, yes. So think of this prompt engineering again. I don't like that term, but let's think of this of getting critiqued and review from AI before we actually do the thing. Okay? So first, when I'm writing a prompt for AI, I used to just say, for example, one of my videos is show a picture of me or create a picture of me. And I got disastrous results. Again, you can go check out that video later. But now I use the RACE framework. Everybody loves a framework, right? I use the RACE framework to help me build a better prompt in the first place. So what is the RACE framework? Well, simply put, it stands for this. R is role. What is your role? Give AI some context about who you are and what you are doing. Next is action. Tell AI what action you want it to do. Tell it kind of the output that you are expecting. Third is C, which is context. Give some context. That's the problem that I've had with AI in the past. I don't think I gave it enough context. And E is for expectations. This is what I expect AI to give me or output from my interaction. Okay? The RACE framework. So the whole point of getting better prompts is you are going to ask for modifications before you throw it into AI. So you've got your RACE framework, but this is what makes this prompt so much better. Taking this AI stuff to another level. You are going to ask AI to modify or give you suggestions to make that prompt better before you actually ask for the results. Interesting, huh? So this is why I say it's kind of like a peer review or a partner working with you together. You're asking AI to look at this prompt first and tell me how to modify it and make it better. So this is the prompt that I use before I put the prompt I want AI to do for me, okay? So I have it evaluate first, and this is what I type in. I just want you to evaluate the prompt for now and let me know how I can improve this for you. Do not answer the prompt. Just read and review it and give me tips on making it better. What is missing? What is unclear? What additional context do you need me to modify or include so that you can give me better answers and output. I put that prompt in, and then I copy and paste and put my real prompt in. And it evaluates. It gives me suggestions. It gives me things that it finds missing. And I want to break down some examples in a little bit, but this is the point. Don't put the prompt in first, but make AI help you do a better prompt. And so I want to talk about the benefits of even doing this before just throwing a prompt in. But before I do, hey, are you liking what you are hearing so far? If you are, why don't you give this video a little like? I would appreciate the love. Okay, let's get back to why this is really beneficial for your process. So by giving this cleanup to your prompt before you actually put it in, it allows AI to get some clarity around what you're looking for. AI can identify vague or ambiguous wording and suggest clearer phrasing. It also helps with goals. What's your goal as the prompt writer? AI can align better with your goals, what you're trying to accomplish, which will lead to more accurate and useful answers. Also, time. This can save you tons of time by getting closer to your desired result on the first try. Also, it educates you a little bit. You learn how to be a more effective prompt writer by seeing the gaps of what you're doing and making improvements along the way. And then finally, it can surface some blind spots. It might say things that you might have missed and not considered. And really, this is what I love about AI most of all, is it brings things up that I did not consider a lot of the times. And I really, really like that. Different alternatives, different way of wording things. I'm like, oh, okay. I really like that. That is a good thing that I didn't think of. It can surface some of those opportunities or blind spots. These are the benefits of having that prompt cleaned up before you throw it into AI. So let me walk you through a couple of recent examples of how I did this. First one was I was writing a process for non-UX folks to visit a bank branch and do observations. It's really valuable to go into the natural environment of the user and see how they interact with our products and services and see how that all goes down. I'm not going to go into a deep dive into that. What I really wanted to do was lay out this process for people who might not be super familiar with what they should and should not do when they go into a bank branch and observe people in the environment. And so what it brought up is it asked me what type of output was I looking for? What was the format? How many words or how many pages was I looking for? Some kind of playbook or guide could be anywhere from a one-pager with some bullet points or could be 10 pages, who knows? So it wanted to know how long this could be. That was good context to ask for. It also wanted to know if there are any constraints or environmental concerns or things that should be included about the ecosystem and the physical location itself. I hadn't considered any of that, so that was good feedback as well. Also, it gave me some examples of what observers should ask employees, not customers. What observers could ask employees to get more context or more understanding about what's going on. This wasn't something that I had really thought about. So I was like, yeah, these are some good questions that they can ask in kind of the downtime or to get more clarity about what's going on. And then finally, it asked about what are the goals of the study? What are these people who are going into these bank branches expected to do? What are they trying to learn? What are the goals that they have when going and observing employees and customers? Good context that I hadn't considered. So there's one example of how AI helped me make a prompt stronger, and therefore, when I added those into my prompt, it included more context. Okay, another example. I was asking AI for some ideas to create better content. And I was specifically thinking about some conference talks or could be applied to YouTube videos too. But this was for, I want to come up with some interesting, spicy conference talks for 2026. And what ideas do you have? And so some of the things that it probed me to ask about was, who's the audience? Obviously, that is really important. Who am I trying to speak to in this conference talk, right? Yeah, important context. It also wanted to know what tone I want to speak in. Now, I haven't really trained AI to know my tone of voice or how to speak because I use a lot of different tools and blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. It wanted to know my tone. Is it serious? Is it educational? Well, I think if you know me, it's going to be spicy and hot and kind of controversial, but it wanted to know what tone I was looking for. Also, are there any topics that should be excluded? Yes, there are loads of topics that I do not want to talk about. For example, how to break into UX. This is not a topic I feel super passionate or excited about these days, and I don't want to do conference talks or create content around that. So yes, there are content topics I don't want to talk about. Good question. And finally, what are the calls to action? If I'm writing something for LinkedIn, what do I want this person who's reading my content to do next? I hadn't thought about calls of action. Might not be relevant to a conference talk, but it is if I'm creating some social media content. So there we have it. This prompt engineering thing doesn't have to be super intimidating, scary. Here are some final thoughts I want you to take away from today's little rant. I am now thinking of how I can help AI help me by providing more context, right? I'm doing that race framework, role, actions, context, expectations, doing that at least so that it has enough context to help me out. And then I'm thinking about how I need to make this more robust to be more helpful. I think I provide a good amount of context, but maybe I don't sometimes. So I'm asking AI to help me with the rest. I'm using AI as a peer to do a reality check. Is this prompt even good enough to get started? There could be some things improved upon. Great. I'm using AI as that kind of gut check before I move forward. So I want you to try out the prompt that I provided to you and let me know how it goes. Leave me a comment after you've tried out this new prompt and see if it makes your AI outputs any better. Whew, there we go. Remember, you can like this video if you appreciated the content. And until next time, stay out of trouble. Or not. Bye.